Good morning, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today, I want to talk a little bit about a comment that came up yesterday, or a couple days ago. I spent yesterday catching up on comments, and there was one comment in there that specifically caught my attention, and I kind of wanted to touch on it a little bit. It was basically when I was talking briefly about the value of homes and how the value of homes are high right now. House prices are high. A lot of people can't afford them. And yes, they can come down in value. However, the value of your home, I had stated, does not really matter. And in my opinion, it does not matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because it has an actual tangible use. It's something that it's functional. You can actually use it for something other than just being an asset. This came up while we were talking a little bit about Bitcoin, how Bitcoin goes down in value, and essentially you lose everything. You have nothing. You know, with gold and silver, someone could say, well, you have nothing if gold and silver goes down in value, but you technically do. Gold and silver is used for a lot of different things that we make, whether it be a wedding band, whether it be jewelry, whether it be a cell phone, whether it be a tangible item. Because silver and gold is a tangible item, it has value. And Bitcoin has value because people think that somebody else is going to buy it later for a higher price. And though that may be true, I will say I think that it does hurt people when it goes down in value, because it's not something that essentially people have to have. Whereas a home, you kind of have to have a home. You need somewhere to stay. Someone could make the argument there are homeless people out there that are just fine. You can make an argument for anything. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about this functionality today. I call it functionality, although I think the proper term is a tangible asset versus an intangible asset. But I like functionality because it just means it has uses, in my opinion. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Obviously, someone had mentioned Bitcoin again, too, in the comments. Bitcoin living rent-free in my head. Yes, Bitcoin is living rent-free right now because it's a hot topic. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Bitcoin is amazing right now at the price that it has reached. I never thought that we would see $110,000 for a Bitcoin. And when I read through the comments that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, it's going to go to $1 billion, that's billion with a B, it makes me wonder where people get all this information from, what people really think. I challenged to get a good comment below talking about why people think Bitcoin has such high value. And I mean, the blockchain is incredible. Let's be honest. The blockchain is awesome. Being able to send money instantly, pretty much for free, is a pretty cool feature. You can send money anywhere in the world. You can move money anywhere in the world. That is a neat feature that I do love about the blockchain. However, you can do that with other cryptocurrencies. You can do that with blockchain. And I really think that the blockchain itself is going to change the world. But the blockchain can be used for Bitcoin, or it can be used down the road for gold and silver. There's nothing saying that someone can't make a gold-backed or a silver-backed cryptocurrency that literally every one crypto coin is equal to an ounce of gold, and there's that much gold backing in the system. I really think someday we will go there because people are losing faith in these non-tangible assets. And I think it's important that we kind of understand a little bit about what's going on with this. I know some people are not going to like this video, and some people will. But if you're a Bitcoin person, stay tuned. Really, I mean that. I'm curious to hear your thoughts more than anything because, you know, it's interesting. I'm not going to lie. The way people are buying it up, obviously people believe in it. But are they going to believe in it if the price falls and has a major pullback to 70,000, 50,000, 40,000, 20,000? Where will people stand at that point? I firmly believe, based on what we've seen when gold and silver goes down, people buy more of it. I mean, a lot of people back up the trucks. The last dip that we saw, I went in heavy on picking up some big orders. And I'm a firm believer that the lower it goes, the more I'll pick up, because it does have value beyond just the asset. So with that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me. Help me out. I'm not being ugly towards Bitcoin. I'm spending some time trying to understand. It is a hot topic right now. Don't thumbs down the video, but if you do thumbs down the video, hit it twice to make sure it sticks. And if you thumbs up the video, it always takes right off. So with that being said, special thank you go out to all of our members. We're going to do a quick recap. We're going to check what the price of Bitcoin is right now as the dollar is continuing to get weaker and weaker on really the U.S. debt. And I think more and more people are looking for somewhere else to put their money. They don't know where to go because, you know, the dollar is probably the strongest currency, in my opinion, when it comes to fiat currencies. And we're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of countries are starting to have trouble with their currencies. And it kind of makes people worry, and they wonder where they should put their money. And a lot of people are going to gold and silver. A lot of people are going to Bitcoin. Central banks are going to gold and silver. But yet we're being fed these stories that different states, different countries want to adopt some Bitcoin thing. But until it's adopted, what are they doing? What are they actually really doing? They're buying gold and silver, specifically gold. I will say that. However, usually silver follows. It's a little late to the game, that's for sure right now, as we are back well over the 100-to-1 ratio. We're at almost 101 to 1 ratio on the gold-silver ratio. So we're going to be talking about that today. Let's take a quick look and we'll see what is going on with the prices today. Okay, so right off the bat, currently we have silver trading at $33.28. Not really doing a whole lot today. Obviously, we just came off the holiday, and you can kind of see it's trickling down just a little bit, but I'm talking so little bit. When you have movement of 10, 20 cents, that's nothing at all. And I think a lot of people are going to miss the opportunity. But let's be honest, at $33.25, I'm not going to say that it's a huge buying opportunity. We're pretty much where we've been in this 23 to 24, I'll even say 22 to $24 range for a while now. And I mean, we've been as high as 35 in recent months. However, we're not far off from that. And once we get through that $35 range, I think the next time we do have an uptick, that we're going to have an uptick and it's going to blow through that $35 range and it's going to go even higher and it's going to create a new floor under the price. So it will only be able to go down so far for the most part. Anything can plunge down, but nobody really knows for sure how low something can go and how high something can go, especially me. This is not financial advice, nor should it be considered as such. This is just my opinion, and I'm just like you. I'm kind of reading the charts, trying to predict where I think it's going to go, and that's it. Right now, we have gold trading at $3,300.38. I'm sorry, $3,338.30. A lot of threes in there. So let's see here. Pretty much 100-to-1 right now at the time of trading, at the time of filming this. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin price. So Bitcoin price right now is trading at $109,091. So it's down a little bit today. However, let's be honest, it's still pretty high. It's up there. It's interesting that I talked to a lot of Bitcoin people lately and, trying to understand their viewpoints on this. And a lot of them are kind of skittish at this $110 mark, $110,000 mark, as it's kind of sitting around there. But a lot of people don't want to pull the trigger and buy anymore right now. Even Michael Saylor came out and said that, they're taking the loans right now to borrow more money so they can buy more Bitcoin, even though their intent is not to buy at this exact moment. They said they do plan on waiting for a dip before they buy. Now, how low of a dip Who knows? We'll see what he thinks by that. Obviously, if he's not willing to buy at 109, 110,000, then he thinks that that price is too high right now. It's understandable. I've had a lot of people ask me in the past, and it's kind of funny because the arguments that you hear for silver and gold, a lot of these same arguments can be countered for Bitcoin. So I had someone ask me one day, if you think silver and gold is going to go a whole lot higher, then why wouldn't you just back up the truck now and buy everything you can at, we'll say, 33.50? Because I still believe there's going to be pullbacks. I still believe there's going to be pullbacks. However, is the next one going to come after we have a $2 jump? Are we going to see a $35 silver price and then a pullback of $1 to take it down to 34, and then another push of $2 higher, taking it up 36? And that's exactly where Michael Saylor is looking right now. He's looking for buying opportunity. And I find that really interesting because that means that as of right now, he's not willing to bet more that it's a guarantee that it's going to go higher. He's already sitting on a really low dollar cost average on the tons and tons of Bitcoin that he has, where I think his average was like $64,000 average. So he's close to double. And that really scares me when few people control such large portions of an investment. With gold and silver, let's be honest, it's not a few people that control the buying or the selling of gold and silver. However, there is a large portion of Bitcoin that's being held by the top 15% of holders. And you can see this. One of the beauties of Bitcoin and the blockchain that I've learned is essentially everything is public. So you can actually go and see what wallet holds the absolute most Bitcoin out there. And you may not know who owns that wallet, but you can see the wallet. Now, to think that there's not 3-letter organizations that aren't watching every account, that aren't setting up a database of all essentially wallets, and I won't even say 21 million wallets because there's probably a lot more than that. I've never actually looked how many holders of Bitcoin there are. But to think that they're not setting up databases of all these wallets and little by little plugging in key pieces of information. Maybe John Doe just sold some Bitcoin and had the money thrown into John Doe's bank account. Now, they didn't know who owned the wallet before, but if the money moves from a wallet, we'll just say XYZ, over to John Doe's bank account, then they can kind of start to figure out that maybe John Doe owns that bank account, owns that wallet. And to think that this is totally anonymous, it blows my mind. I've had a lot of people tell me, well, they can take your gold and silver, but they can't take your Bitcoin. If that was true, then I'm thinking that Sam Bankman, I think his name was, who had the big Ponzi scheme or whatever you want to call it, essentially got in trouble for crypto crimes, I guess you can say. They wouldn't, let's be honest. Would he have given it back if they couldn't take it back? I'm not convinced they would have. I'm convinced they would have found a way to take it back, I should say, from him. I think they already knew. If you're going to go to jail, what's the harm? Why not just keep it? You can end up slowly filtering the code to someone else, and at least someone's going to have it. It's kind of crazy to think. And I'll be honest, yeah, they can come and take your gold and they can come and take your silver. It might be a little more difficult because most people are probably going to have it in a secure place. I've heard some crazy spots of where people hide it. And in some cases, who even knows where people put it? So some people don't even keep it with them. Even if they're like me, I don't keep mine with me because I'm public. People know who I am. And so for me, it's a security thing. But even that, people can figure out little by little where it's at, and it can be taken. But to think your Bitcoin can't be taken is just crazy. Now, I will say it's awesome to be able to move it from country to country without any problems. You just have to remember your password, and that's it. But the big thing got to move on here. I don't want to stay too much on just that topic just yet. The big thing right now, obviously, what's going on with the DXY. Currently trading still in the 28.92 range. As you zoom out over 5 days, we'll say 5 days, you can still see that it is sloping in a downward pattern. If we zoom out year to date, you can see that it is still going down. Big questions coming up. Obviously, we have the Fed meeting coming up. A lot of people are wondering, are they going to cut interest rates? Right now, they're saying they have no intent on cutting interest rates. And a lot of that stems because the amount of debt that the U.S. owes is obscene. And it's kind of going to start strangling the United States. The majority of our GDP is going to go to the interest. And that's kind of where countries like Japan are at right now. And we're seeing their currency continue to go down in value. We're seeing gold, silver, all kinds of assets go up in value. But the thing that I want to really talk about today, one more thing before I jump in. We did just hit 36.9 trillion. So as you can see, we did just get another $900 billion. And it's not going to be long at the rate this is going up that we're going to see our new $37 trillion debt. And that will make noise. A lot of people will be talking about that when that does happen. The big thing that I wanted to talk about, like I said, was tangible assets. The whole idea of tangible assets, in my opinion, if you own a home, and that home right now is valued at $200,000, it depends where you are. Someone out there is going to be like, you can't buy a home for $200,000. It all depends where you're at in the United States. Everywhere is different. But if you have a home and it's valued at $200,000 right now, the thing you have to understand and you have to consider is, does it really matter how much your house is valued at? If your house was to go down to $100,000 or $50,000, if you're not in the market to sell it, you're already comfortable in your home, you're living in it, then it really shouldn't matter what your home is valued at. You know, you have a purpose. You're staying in that house. You're not paying rent to somebody. You know, you have a place to live. You can have family over. You're enjoying your home. Hopefully you have it set up the way you want. And it's not a total mess like mine. But needless to say, you have it set up. It doesn't matter what your house is worth. If the market was to tank on the housing market, it's not the end of the world. But now if you have assets like cryptocurrencies, when they fall in value, that can be devastating. What purpose does having an asset if it's worthless? I mean, I actually had one person say that his account got essentially lost. It got hacked. He lost access to his crypto account, and he had money in there. It's not a lot now. He hasn't even bothered to try to unhack it or get it unhacked. Now, I can honestly tell you, I have an account out there, a wallet that I personally have lost access to. I have a bunch of Peacock coin in it. And here's the thing about Peacock coin. Peacock coin came out. I had hoped maybe it would do something. I put a little money into it, and then something happened, and I lost access to my wallet. And I went back in. I tried. The phone broke. I got a new phone. I tried downloading it. I tried entering in the passphrase, and it would not acknowledge it. It wouldn't accept it. And needless to say, I had it written down. I still have the paper in case I can figure it out at some point. But it really ain't a big deal. Why? Because the value of that crypto plunged. It's pretty much worthless now. It's got like 14 zeros after the period, after the decimal point. And so, I mean, we're so far, it doesn't matter, you know, what the value of it is. Now, obviously, if the price did escalate, then I would be frantically trying to figure out how to get access to that wallet. But it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't have any other use other than maybe there'll be someone out there that will buy it. And a lot of people, some people understand this, not everybody, but a lot of people understand it's not cryptos in general that are skyrocketing in value. It's Bitcoin that has been going up in value. A lot of other coins have not really been doing that much. If you look at Dogecoin, if you look at Shiba Coin, if you look at, I mean, XRP's done pretty well. I know there's a lot of holders of XRP in the community, the people that watch this channel. I think I probably have more people that hold XRP over Bitcoin. And I can kind of understand that because XRP is not overpriced right now. It went through huge government trials, so I find that interesting how that one took all the heat over all the other cryptos. Why did that one take a lot more heat than others? And let me know in the comments, do you hold Bitcoin or XRP or both? Now, if you hold gold and silver, I assume you probably hold some precious metals if you're watching this channel. And if you only hold cryptos, I hope you enjoy the channel for some reason. Maybe you just get a good laugh out of it. I don't know. I got to say that because I do get some people that just come on here and they just leave negative comments all the time about gold and silver. And I always laugh because when you see the same people over and over again, I'm like, I wonder why they tune in every day. Maybe I'm like their Saturday Night Live. I'm your weekly morning joke. Everybody's got a different opinion. And, hey, I can laugh at that. If you firmly don't believe in gold and silver, I guess the only thing that I can say is time will tell. And, I feel bad. I don't want to say, I would hate to say I was right when something bad happens and your only escape is gold and silver. Now, I'm not propping you to buy gold and silver. I've always said I don't care if people buy it or they don't buy it. It doesn't affect me. All I need is central banks to keep buying it because they understand, and eventually other people will jump on board. And when other people jump on board, it's always the smart money that invests first. And it's central banks, I'm going to assume, are the smart money. They're the in. It doesn't mean they do the right choices for the rest of the herd. It just means they make the right choices for themselves. And I don't mind if I've got to hop on someone else's coattail to make a bunch of money. And so that's kind of my thoughts on gold and silver and Bitcoin. I know I've been talking a lot about Bitcoin lately. A lot of that does have to do with the excitement surrounding Bitcoin. And I'll be honest, when it starts crumbling and coming down, it will be a very hot topic at that point. And, I do want people to remember who tried to steer them in the right direction and give them stuff to think about. Now, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you my opinions. And I'm trying to steer you in the right direction so that you think about what you're investing your money in, what you're buying, what's going on. And I hope you understand when you buy something like a house, it doesn't really matter the value of the house because you're getting a use out of it. But when you buy something that the only purpose is that there might be someone out there that will pay you more for it, I'll be honest. People accepted it. Bitcoin. They accept Bitcoin as money right now. Is it mainstream? No. Even the internet's going to tell you that it's not mainstream yet. Is it growing? Yeah. I mean, to a certain point it is. But what happens when something bad happens is usually it takes the wind out of the sail and it comes crumbling down. And it takes a while to get that trust again. A lot of people that I've talked to have been burned by cryptocurrencies in the past. And some people will say, but that was when it first happened. And so obviously all those things have been fixed. That's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that things have gotten better on cryptocurrencies, and to a certain point it has. However, there's still a lot of cons out there, a lot of scams out there. And I'll be honest, I've had people say, well, you can buy fake gold. That's a scam. You can get caught and buy fake gold if you don't know what you're buying. If you are buying from a reputable company, and then you're getting it and you're taking it to another company. One thing I like to do before I had a Sigma, before I knew how to test stuff, is I would actually get stuff and then I would go to a coin shop. Whenever I make my way to a coin shop, I've got to drive a little ways to go to a big coin shop. But I would bring stuff with me and I would say, hey, I got a question for you. I'm thinking about selling this. What can you take a look at it and make me an offer? Do you think if it was fake, they would hesitate to tell you, I don't have no interest in this. This is not real. That's what they would tell you. So there's a lot of ways you can take precautions. However, when it comes to the paperwork of a company or cryptocurrency, how many people have really taken the time to look at the blockchain, look at what's going on? If you're buying it through a company or through a, what's the proper term? Through an exchange, how many people have actually taken the time to look into the exchange? And these are some of the things you have to think about with crypto. And like I said, today's question, please post in the comments. Do you have Bitcoin? Do you have XRP? I love to hear. If you're diversified, you've got a little bit of crypto and you've got some gold and silver, then I'd love to hear that. It is something that, gives me something to read and see where people stand. I'm hearing more and more people want to get into XRP. There is the huge XRP convention right now going on in Las Vegas, actually, this week. So that's going to be interesting how that plays out. It was either this week or this past week. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up, check out some of these other great videos, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and can't wait to see what gold and silver does this week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.